Hello, everyone. How is everybody's day going so far? Today is Monday again, so just thought I'd put a video together for you and see what I can do to help you guys out. I have this spreadsheet that I use. I call it the story system. Today we're not going to go deep into the story system, but I came across some stuff online and just examining some things here and there and came up with an idea. So, and maybe this may help. Maybe I mean, if it helps, that's cool. If not, it's just more information for you. And so this is, well, the spreadsheet that I have here. I mean, I like to use this spreadsheet because it's a rundown system. You know, everybody uses different type of rundowns. So this is three different sheets put together into one. Here's one. So these are any rundowns you put in. So I have like all these different rundowns information on the side. See, I mean, I have a 111 rundown, so if I just put it to 111 run, I mean, everything changes. You just press run. It gives you the rundown on that. It also gives you the one, two, threes. So it goes all the way down to 999, right? So each of them has their own rundowns and different ideas and different ways to use this spreadsheet. But today I'm just going to focus on one thing. So I came across this number. I don't know if people are that do research. I mean, I think I found a universal number that might be that may work. And the way I'm seeing it is just I call it a universal number because it's 183. I mean, it's just random. You know, people think that it's yeah. A lot of times you might find certain things on different numbers when you do your research, but sometimes it comes back down to like some people like to use a 317 rundown, right? But then you just type in a number here, whatever number that they get, they might use that. But the rundown that I have that I'm going to use today is we're going to just choose some, it's going to be like more of a random type of research. I'm in Arizona, so I do a lot of different type of numbers research and stuff and try to find the next winning number. So we're going to be diving into this today. So we'll just pick some random numbers off of the sheets here off the lottery posts. I don't promote lottery posts, but I like to use their stuff that they have on their stuff, their numbers and everything else, because you can actually research their stuff, have the calendars and everything else inside of it. So, but let me go and get started here for you. So let me pull up this Pick 3 calendar here. So we're going to research some numbers. Recently, Arizona switched their stuff to two numbers, two drawings a day. Before it was just one. So if you see all these are single numbers now into midday and evenings. So let's dive into this and see if we can come across with some ideas. But I'm going to use this thing called I call it the universal number is 183. So when I 183, I'm going to just do a quick. I'm going to use. Let's just select one of these rundowns here. Maybe one, two, three. Mm, let's do this. Let's do. I'm going to choose one of these. 127, 458, and 369. Those are something that I've been working on. So let's go ahead and do 369. 369 rundown. Okay. So we're gonna go back into, let's choose a random number here. There's a whole bunch of numbers that came up here. I don't know. Let's do March 26th. Okay, so let's do March the 10th. So the way I do this is that March the 10th number was 551, right? So 551 was a number. So what I would do is I just go find the date of the 10th. So here's the 10. Let's see, because this is a 0, I treat this as a 10. This could also be 10 right here. Okay, so that would be the 10. The other ones that I can see here is going straight across is also the 10. Okay, so I think this one is more lenient because this may work, but let's check. So the number is 551. See, the date of the 10th is going straight. The 551 is wrapped around that 10. See, 55515. Here's 551. If it's the 10th here, 515 is going straight across over here as well. See, 515, 515. But it's attached to the 10 itself. It's based on the date. Like most people still don't believe in that, but there's the date. So let's just keep that up. So let's do the 11. 934. Okay, 934 was the number again. 934. So it's the 11. So now the 11 is going to be, is there any numbers that's attached to this? So here's the 11. Let's make that blue. So you see the 11. And the other 11 would be this by itself down here. So let's make those 11. Because there's no other numbers that I see here. So the number is 934. Is there a 934 attached to this 11? There's a 9, 3. There's a 4 that's way off. 934 is attached here. It's still touching the 1 here. See 934. And there's a 1 here as well. So just like this one. This one is the 11. And let's say we make this the 11th, the blue. See, it's 934 back up this way. Still attached back to this 1 up here. So this over here is over here. 934. And even here, 934 is wrapped around that 1. 934, 934. So this is, I mean, that's why I say it's a universal number. I don't know if, I mean, if you came across a number like this, but this is, I was just doing some stuff on research and somehow I just stumbled across 183. I'm like, this is weird. So I started using it. So let's try another one. Let's just look for another day. Let's do May 7. I don't know, just 764. Let's try that. So 764. So it says May 7. So let's first look at the 7. So this is the 7th here. Let's see if there's any sevens that's going straight across. This might be 7 here. This might be 7 here, going backwards. See the same thing on this side. So this here is the same as this. But this 7 is going backwards. So you just gotta choose which 7 you want to roll with, right? So let's look at this. So the number came up as 764. See, every 7 around a 7 there's a 6, 764. These are all 764s. So let's make those blue, or yeah, blue. 764. If you come down here, 764 is attached this way. This is the same thing. And then up here, 764 is also attached to the 7. See, I didn't change no chart. The only thing I have is that same chart, the 183, 638. Then it mirrors down here because it's a 369 rundown. 369 rundown is 369. All right, so everything else, nothing changes. I'm not messing with like number changes or nothing. I'm just looking at the dates because a lot of these are dates. Because a lot of times when you do, most people would just do a rundown like this, 1, 2, 3. But a lot of times you can't see behind the mirror of what's happening. You know what I mean? So this is the 7. So let's clear that off. Let's do the next day, the 8th. Looks like 408. The 8th is 264 is what the winning number is. So here's the 8th. This may become the 8th. So let's keep it yellow. Is there an 8 going straight across? Nothing. So these are the two eights I'm seeing here. There's a 8. I think this is the exact same. It's not the same though if you look at it. This here is not this. It seems like they're identical, but look at the numbers. This is 329. This is 379. 329. 379 because the numbers here, 638 up here is identical here. But then again, the mirror numbers change because you're doing a 369. But the 369, the 8 doesn't change. The 3 mirrors, the 1 and the 6 also mirrors. But this doesn't change because the 6's can only be added, like 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 plus 6 is 0. Then it repeats. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 32, 37. It's the same. Okay, so let's say the eighth is right here, right? So the eighth is right here. So the number came up as 264. See, the eighth is attached here again, 264. How about up here? See, this one doesn't have it. 62, but there's no 4. Actually, it is. It goes downwards. 624. So the eighth this side is attached, but the eighth on this side is here. So this is the eighth. So kind of like if you were just playing this chart, the eighth up here is what played here. But this is not the eighth because this number here itself, the eight that is attached here, is not showing the eighth for that side. So this will be probably more of an 18th or the 17th. 18. But 624 was what came up as attached to this 8 itself. Okay. So sometimes you don't have to put the zeros and you can just do the single digit number of the eighth. But anyway, let's try another one. Let's do what am I doing? What happened here? Not there you go. My screen freaked out. Okay. So let's do another one. Let's move this here. Now we can see it better. So let's do some of the ones that came up with the two new numbers. So 759. Let's try that. 759. Or actually, let's do something in the 20s. Okay. Let's see. So I don't know if you ever looked at the histories. Like let's say if you look at the date of the 10, right? 429 and 028. Now if you look at the 10, 528. Look, this one is a 28, but the mirror of the 5. But if you go back again, let's say the 10th again is 528. 10th here is 721. But which one carried? The 2 carried. If you go back to the 10th, 056. So the 05 and down here is 528. So the 05 carried the 028 here. Now the 10th tonight would be what? So if you go to January, is a 994. That's the 10th. Here is 865994. That don't match. But then the 10th again here became a 551. The 10th here became the 865 is now the 5. So the 5 dropped here in a double. The 10th became the 5 6. right? So a lot of these numbers they kind of attach to one another and they just mirror off to one each other. So let's choose a number for the 10th. So let's look at these numbers. So let's do the 10th. So let's find the 10. So this might be 10 and this could be 10 down here as well. So let's use both. Okay. So the 10th, I'm just going to choose one of the 10ths that we just looked at. So let's see. So the 10th here is 994 back in January 2026. Let's clear this off real quick. 994. Then February was 865. Okay. So this is January, this is February. So is the 994 attached to one of these 10s? So there's two fours here, but the 9 is over here. Okay. But down here on the 10, there's a 9 here, but there's no 4s attached to it. Because we're looking here at the 11, because this is the 11. So the more of the 10th would be this 0 here, because that's the only 0 here in the middle. But if we switch it, let's do a flip-flop real quick. Let's go ahead and clear this back up. So I'm going to take this 183 and put it down here. So that way we see the other side of the numbers. So I'm taking all this here, I'm going to put it up here. See, now we're at 183. So now if we look at the 10th, that 10th is here. That 0 still stays down here. But that's the only one. Now the 0, there's 2 that came up now, you see? There's 2 zeros. So this is still considered a 10 because it's a 0 right in the middle. This also could be considered a 20. This could be considered 20 here. But this is more of a 10 because it's still attached to here. So this is more likely a 10 down here. So the 4944 is what came up as a 994 is still attached here, and then there's a 4. That's what we looked at earlier. But the 994, this one doesn't work. What about an 865? 865 is attached here. 865. So this was attached here with 0. But down here was it attached? Nowhere. 85, but the 6 is over here. So still attached somehow. But let's say we look at the 10th for March. March 10th was 551. You see it, 551. So here, still the 10. 5, 5, but the 551 move here. Look, the 10th is right there again. 551. So anywhere there's a 10, somehow it moves, it catches with one another. It tags along with one another. So if you do the 10th, then let's say we do the 10th of April. The 10th of April was, let's move this way, 056. So let's just clear this back off. So here's the 10, because that's going straight. 056. Going straight right there again. 056 against the 10. And then if you look at, let's do, that was April. How about May? May the 10th was 721. Is the 10th still attached to the 721? Maybe it moved down here. See, the 10th is here. The 721 is it wrapped around the 10. 721. Over here would be just 7-1, but there's no 2. The 2 is way out here. But here's your other 10. This is the 0. There's a 7-1-2 going up this way. Right? But it's not, but it's still wrapped around that 10 itself. And that was 7-2-1, and that was for May. January, February, March, April, May. Then if you do the June, the 10th, it's 5-2-8. So now if you look at the 10th here, 5-2-8 is going straight down next to the 10. I'm not doing any, I mean, I'm not making no changes on the chart. Everything's exactly the same. The 10. 5-2-8 this way too. 5-2-8. 5-2-8. Still against the 10. 5-2. And then the next day, the next month is July. So there's 2 numbers that month. 429 and 028. 429, 028. 429, 1028. So midday, so we're looking at the chart again here. So let's clear this off real quick. So these are our 10s. There's 2 of them. This may become a 10, but this is what we're using already because that's what it is. So there's 2 different charts you're using. This is the topper portion. This is the bottom portion. Okay. So let's do this. So 429 right across. That's the bottom side. How about up here? There's no, there's a 429 up here. And the 10th is right there. Let's see, 429 to 10. 10, 10. And then I said the 028. Right, so the 028 is there. So let's see, let's clear this back off. 0, 0, 2, 8 attached to any of these 10. There's no 8s because all the 8s are up here. There's an 8 here. There's an 8, 2, 0. There it is. 10. 8, 2, 0. Still attached to the 10. Then for this month, you think it's going to play here or play up here? Seems like it's going back and forth between this and this. Even over here, it went this way. The 820, 028 to attach. So for this month's 10, maybe it's going to switch from the 0 to the 5s. 508. Because the 5-2 carried before. The 5-8, 2-8, 2-8 carried here. month before. So, but that's the tens that I'm seeing here. Okay, so but each of these numbers, I mean, it's kind of weird in a way, you know. I mean, I'm just basing off of like the histories of the chart or histories of the numbers, but they flow together. Every day flows together. So if you look at the date of the second, right? So the second was 9793 and 627. But if you look at the date for the second in August, 627 has became 624. 144 is none of these, right? But it's this is a 9 and a 6. So that one doesn't really make sense. Okay. So let's see. Okay, it's the second. 7. Okay. All right. So, but if you look at the history of this, let's say we look at the 2nd of August. So let's see if we can find. Let's see if we can find the 624. So the second would be here. Is there a 624 attached to that? Yes, there is. Let's see, 6246 attached to the 2. Okay, so what about the third? 858 is attached to the thing. 858 attached to the third. Here's your third. Here's your fourth. Is 187. It's a fourth attached to the 187. I don't see it. It's probably down here. See, the fourth down here is attached to the 187. So it goes back and forth between these. So you just got to choose where you choose your numbers from. So this might be one day, next day, one day, next day. I don't know. All right, so hopefully that helps. But that's a universal number I'm thinking of. I mean, it's pretty cool in a way, you know. 183 is the number. So if you want to just create this chart, do this rundown, use it. If you want this sheet that I have, it is available for if you want to pick it up. You can just click on the link below on the comment section, and you should be able to get a copy of it. All right, so but that's pretty. I think the only thing I have here for you guys today. And if you like more of these videos, just subscribe to this channel. And you guys have a wonderful day. Okay, take care.